Okay, so today I wanted to go over the pieces for the midterm exam. And I'm going to put in the chat the page numbers so you will have them all. Let's see here. They are going to be page 243, 238, and 335. Remember that we are trying to memorize these. That's the requirement, to memorize these for the midterm. And let me open up these pages for you.
A waltz. Luda wants me to learn how to do the waltz. So here we go.
Stay away from that song.
So if I can play it, maybe I can learn how to dance it.
Or maybe if you play it, you get out of having to dance it. No.
I don't think she'll go. She won't go for that one.
All right. So I'm going to put on my screen a picture of the textbook just for today so you can see what we're talking about. I'm going to zoom out so we can get 100%. Okay, so this song is by Anton Diabelli. Does anybody know anything about Anton Diabelli? Yes, he's a dead white guy from Europe.
Well, there you go.
Royalty free.
He's from Austria.
You know, that's the first four letters of diabolical, huh?
Yeah, that's right. He wrote a waltz that Beethoven used for 33 variations, for a piece of 33 variations. That's what he's kind of best known for, according to Wikipedia. He was born in 1781, and he died in 1858. He wrote a lot of beginning repertoire for piano, for children. But he wrote other things as well, an operetta. He's got a lot of four-hand piano works, a lot of sonatinas. So there you go, Diabelli from Austria. Looking at this piece, what can you tell me about it?
A lot of broken chords on the left hand.
Good. Yeah. Every single measure except for 2. Right? Good. What else?
Repeat sign. We have repeat sign from.
Oh, repeat. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we have 2 repeats, don't we?
Good. 2 repeats?
Yeah, so you're going to play 1 through 8. Repeat, play 1 through 8.
Okay.
You're going to play 9 through 24, is it? And then 9 through 24.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
2 What's repeats. Up with this?
It's piano forte.
What does that mean?
It's soft and
to loud.
For 1 note?
No, it's for all piece.
Does it?
No, not for until 19.
The first time you play through this, it's
until 7.
First time you play it, you're going to play piano. You're right, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time on the repeat, you're going to play it forte.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So you play it soft and then you play it loud.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk.
Okay.
Piggyback off of the repeat. That's what that's for.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Okay, a couple things you might want to notice. We've got an accidental here.
An accidental.
Actually, the accidental is here, and this is a courtesy accidental.
Here.
Telling you,
down.
don't
down
keep
there.
this sharp. Just because we had it sharped, we no longer have it sharped. Remember, how long does a sharp last for if it's an accidental?
One measure.
Right.
Oh.
Right. So
Yeah.
it expires with that bar line, not right after it. So this is just a reference, just a reminder, we're not still sharped.
A reminder that you're not still sharp from way back three or four measures back.
Right. So oftentimes the courtesy accidentals aren't a courtesy at all, are they?
Well, they should have it in the measure after the sharp if they're going to do it, shouldn't they?
Well, but they don't have that C. They don't have that same note.
Okay. So this is the first time that note shows up. Okay, that makes sense now.
Good.
Okay, now I understand it. I didn't notice that.
Okay, so we have quite a dynamic range here, don't we? We go from our softest soft right here is pianissimo. And
Pianissimo.
We get forte.
Where's pianissimo?
Here in 19.
19. Yeah.
19. Oh, way down here.
Yep.
Okay.
9 we have
Pianissimo.
piano.
Okay.
So I like to draw stairs. See if I can do this. I can't really do this. It's hard to do with my mouse, but we have pianissimo, piano, mezzo forte, forte. We have a dynamic range of 5 dynamics.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So we have crescendo marks, decrescendo marks.
Up and down.
Crescendo
Yeah.
mark.
Accents.
Yes, we do have accents.
2 of them. Yeah. 3 if you count the unaccent. I still don't really get it. Those lines all the way across a whole big bunch like that.
Later.
You're talking right here?
There's a whole bunch of them in there, like right at the beginning. There's from measure 1 to measure 3.
Oh, you're talking about the slur marking right here?
Yeah, all those. There's a whole bunch of those.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you relate to that, because you can't like hold that. You don't hold that note down for all that time, do you?
No, what you're going to do is you're going to hold this note until this note plays, and you're going to hold that note until that note plays. Let me play it both ways so you can hear the difference. So here it is legato. And here it is non-legato. There's little breaks in between each note when it's non-legato.
Oh, so that slur line makes it legato. So
Correct.
for example, then in measure 4, you drop that note.
Mm-hmm. You actually have a rest because you have
to.
to.
Yeah. Oh, you have to because of the rest, right? Okay, but if the rest weren't there, you still would just bang it out short and then start the next one. You wouldn't carry it all the way through. Is that right?
Well, because there's a slur, I would have a slight break. Because the slur ends, I would have a slight break, and then I'd start a new slur. Yeah.
Okay.
So the way I like to think of it, Edison, is I like to compare it to vocalists, and I like to compare it to string players. A vocalist is not going to take a breath in between these notes because there's a slur.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to sing la, 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 la. They're not going to go la, 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 la.
Uh-huh.
And the same thing with a string player. A string player is not going to change their bow direction. They're going to play all 6 of those notes in one bow.
Mm-hmm.
Da, 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 da. They're not going to go da, da, nah, 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 nah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
I guess.
So we can't take breaths with our fingers.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have one finger playing all the way till the next finger plays. So it's a nice legato sound. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you.
When we do our scales, are we breaking between notes?
Preferably no.
No, we aren't, but there's no slurs.
There's not.
Preferably, Ed. Preferably.
Yeah, so
So, yeah, we're playing legato. We could break and play him staccato.
Uh-huh.
Preferably, no, we're playing
So,
legato.
so how do you know? I mean, if the slur tells us to do that, and if there's no slur, how do we know that we're doing that?
Yeah. For most exercises, we are going to play legato, and you're absolutely right. They could mark them. They probably don't, because it's another thing you have to put in the publishing and deal with on page layout, and it's more ink for the publisher. So they just generally don't.
Oh,
but if they specifically want it non-legato, then you're more likely to see a staccato mark.
Okay.
In book we have 122 page exercise. Play fortepiano, play staccato legato, play crescendo diminuendo. It's scale challenges. So you should practice it and understand.
Yes. Are you talking about the scale challenges?
Yes.
Yeah, right here.
And it's help you understand when you practicing.
Okay.
Okay, I apologize. I don't have my overhead camera. I had one of my microphone stands break, and I'm waiting for a part to come in the mail from the company I ordered it from. So when that comes, I'll have an overhead camera shot for you in the future so you can see my hands, but I'm still waiting on that part. But I'm going to go ahead and play this Diabelli Waltz just so you can hear it. Okay, what do you think? Not too bad?
Beautiful.
Well, I just recorded that. Now all I have to do is move my fingers and turn it in, right?
Yeah.
No, I just joking.
Okay. Next is page 238, I believe.
The dance.
All right, this is by Christian Gottlieb. Who's he? You guessed it, another dead white guy from Europe. He was a German opera composer and conductor. There's not too much about him on Wikipedia. I need to go to Oxford Dictionary or New Grove Dictionary and learn more about him. But it looks like he spent a lot of time in Leipzig, a little bit in Frankfurt and Berlin. He studied law at Leipzig University, which I got to go by a couple summers ago.
And how was it?
It's pretty. I love Leipzig. Leipzig is like the best kept secret of Germany, I think. It has a fabulous Baroque festival. Bach. What is it? It's a Bach festival in the summer, and they bring in all these big names to perform at. And you know, when you think Germany, most people don't consider Leipzig for a destination, but that's a fun little town. I like it. I mean, who wouldn't love to be in Germany right about now? Lots of great ice cream on the street. Okay, this is called Dance. What can you tell me about it?
Key of E flat major.
Great.
The bass note plays the root of our chords. We have a 1, a 4, a 5, and then a 1.
Good.
Allegretto scherzando. I don't know that. Well, allegretto, so it's probably, pretty fast relatively.
So a little bit slower than an allegro, right?
Yeah.
Scherzando, I know scherzo means in a joking manner.
Huh.
So kind of lighthearted. And you'll hear it once I play it.
Yeah, when you have the staccato bass line there, probably.
Good. Lots of staccatos.
Mm-hmm.
Staccato. Oh, that's what those dots are, right?
Yeah, it's when you play a key very suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, short and detached. We have repeat signs.
1. Mm-hmm.
Check this out. We have a clef change.
Clef change on the bottom, yeah.
Clef change back.
Mm-hmm. Clef change back. But that's on the wrong side of the. It's on the wrong side of the bar, isn't it? I mean, that's weird.
No, because they want you to not change clefs until you get to that side. They want you to change at the beginning of measure 9, not in measure 8. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, but then I would expect to see it in measure 9.
You do.
Well, yeah.
Huh?
We don't put the clefs before the measure at the beginning. It would be like
Well, it is. It is in measure what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, I see
9.
what you're saying.
Yeah, measure 9. It's there, but what I was looking at is the clef sign to go back down to the bass clef.
Yeah.
You see
I think they put it there because you've got a lot of room.
Just from the space.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just have to know where it is. But I remember last year when we were working on some stuff and we saw those clef signs in the end there like that, and they didn't mean anything.
Because that was only line exercise.
Okay.
I think the hardest part is going to be this bit right here.
Right there. That's going to be hard.
Yeah, because you have fast moving notes, you have the 16th notes, and you have a lot of skips.
Skips.
But what is nice is you're going in the same direction. We're skipping up, skipping down, skipping up, skipping down in both hands.
What does a skip mean? It means you're going
A skip
a
means
third?
Yep, a third. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so instead of just going a second, you're going a third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about our dynamics. We have piano. We have mezzo piano.
Mezzo forte.
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 Forte. So we have a dynamic range of 4, don't we?
All over the place, huh? Did somebody say this was in E flat?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Right there. We have little slurs.
Bunch of flats.
3-note slurs. All right, I'm going to play it for you. Tell me what you think.
B-E-A, B-E-A.
1, 2, 3, here I go. muted you, Edison, so let's have you unmute.
Mute. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. You can see why it's from Germany. It's not like one of those beer songs.
Yeah.
And what's this? Not a harp. What do you call that?
I can, yeah.
Accordion. Accordion, right?
Yeah, it's got another name for the small one, but yeah.
Yeah.
Harmonica. Harmonica, probably.
No, not a harmonica, but it's not really an accordion because it doesn't have all the buttons, but it just goes in and out with two hands. I forget what it's called.
With a B. I'm failing to remember, but yeah, fun little song, isn't it?
It's cute.
All right. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the other one. 335. This is another dance, I believe, by Haydn. I went to the wrong page. Something happened.
It's 344. Just strutting alone.
Should be 335, German dance.
335. Oh, 35.
What do you know about Haydn?
Nothing.
Nothing? Oh, Haydn was great. Franz Joseph Haydn, also called Papa Haydn. Haydn is born in Austria, but he spent a lot of time in Hungary, and he was important because he was employed by the Esterházy family at their estate. He was a court musician for this wealthy family. And the nice thing was that it paid him very well. He was a friend of Mozart, Beethoven. If you ever get to go to Vienna, you can go visit his house. It's a museum. And in this museum, along the stairs, it shows who Haydn entertained at his house. It's kind of a neat thing. If I can find it real quick, I'll show you. It also has a nice layout of how Haydn spent his time, what his daily schedule was like. Let me just pull that up real quick for you. It's a fun little museum. Also, in the very back corner of the museum, there's a place where they have some things that belong to Brahms. Brahms's house was destroyed in a war. And so they have some of Brahms's personal belongings in the Haydn Museum in Vienna. Could I just have a little slideshow for you, showing you when I went there?
Sure. History is fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It makes it a little more real, I think, the piece. It puts a person behind it. So this is Heidengasse. Gasse means street. And this is where the museum is. Now, in Austria, you can see these red and white flags over here. If there's a museum that's run by the city, it'll have those flags there. So this is the house of Haydn. He lived here from, what does that say? That's not right. 1976 is not right. This is what we want. He lived here from 1797 to 1809. There's a photo of him with his wig. There's a few photos of him at the house. This gives you a little timeline for Haydn. He was born March 31st in Lower Austria. And they moved into this house in 1797. But you can kind of see a little timeline of his life. He was a choir boy at the cathedral, St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna. Did his music studies. He married Maria Anna Keller, and they don't have any children. And they didn't really get along. They both had their own house. And I think there's something that said that Haydn liked his sister better than her, but I can't remember. I'd have to look that up. He became the director of music for Count Marzen. Composes his first symphonies at that time period. And he became the first court conductor for the Esterhazy prince, and they treated him really well. Everyone really loved Haydn. When Prince Nicholas I died, Haydn moved to Vienna. He also traveled to London. All right. So, whoa. That's weird. So he was the first to recognize the great potential of the symphony and the string quartet. And those are still in the musical repertoire to this day. So when the prince died in September of 1790, he left his son Paul Anton a massive pile of debts. The new prince immediately gave notice to the orchestra and opera personnel. The dismissed musicians faced disaster. Only Haydn received the annual pension he had been promised of 1,000 florins. He immediately set off for Vienna, and at the end of the same year, 1790, on to London. So this was a city of music, Vienna, around 1800, but no metropolis, it says. More pictures of Haydn. I think that one picture was the prince. But I want to show you. Oh, this is the cannonball from the French Wars. I think this is the one that destroyed. Well, it's during the Napoleon Wars. Let me just show you. This is pretty cool. It's It tells a little bit about their marriage. Although Maria Anna Haydn was 3 years older than her husband, she thought of the house as a widow's residence. When they first moved in, she was in fact around much more than Haydn, who lived in Eisenstadt during the summer months while spending the winter in a small apartment in the center of town. Only when his wife died in 1800 did he really take possession of the house. The house had now become his widower's residence. But who else lived here? Who was in the house during the day? With the exception of a great niece who lived here for a short while, the family was wholly absent in the final years. Haydn's siblings had predeceased him, and their children lived in the country. The house was enlivened up by up to 6 servants who acted as a substitute for the family. Above all, his cook and his servant and copyist. Haydn's will also reflects this close relationship with his servants. With the exception of the sole heir and nephew, Matthias Froelich, the 2 servants received more than the remaining 16 relatives put together. So he took care of his servants. And he keeps them in the will here. I want to just show you this part of the museum. This shows who all visited Haydn at this house. So this was a theater director and a producer, another composer and court conductor. Michael Haydn is his brother, who is also a composer. The St. Petersburg court conductor, Sigismund Newcomb, and Antonio Polzelli was a pupil and a composer. You can see that Muzio Clementi, he's a famous composer that wrote a lot of sonatinas you might have heard. Cherubini was a composer, and Dragonetti was a composer. He wrote a lot of double bass material because he played the double bass. Beethoven came to see him at this house. Some other singers. Haydn was Beethoven's teacher. More
Should have started with that, man.
Yeah. Hummel was a pretty famous composer of the time period. Kramer was an instrument maker and a pianist and a composer. Constance Mozart was Mozart's widow, and Franz Xaver Wolfgang Mozart was Mozart's son. They came to this house to see Haydn, and Pleyel, another composer. It says rival. The Esterhazy family came and saw him. More composers, Hummel and Weber, Tomacek. The sculptor that created two of Haydn's busts came. There's a big mystery out there about Haydn's skull. You can see this right here. Like Haydn's skull was robbed and taken, and it's kind of gruesome. So I think that's kind of cool. Makes it a little more real. It's kind of fun you can also see his handwriting.
Well, it's pretty neat that you had a chance to go there and visit these places. How long did you spend?
So I was able to go twice. Once I went when I was doing my doctorate at the University of Iowa. I received a grant for doctoral or dissertation research.
How neat.
And then 2 summers ago, I did a study abroad course with Fresno City College, and I took 7 students and my family all through Germany and Austria. So it was a 20-day experience, and we got to go to several composers' homes. And I hope to do it again, but obviously we got to wait on COVID. So this is one of Haydn's instruments. This is his clavichord. Some of the music that he composed on it. And this is cool because it shows Haydn's typical day, his daily routine. Let me see if I have close-ups of it. In the warmer season, Haydn rose at 6:30 in the morning and shaved straight away. Then he dressed completely. If a pupil was waiting for him whilst he dressed, then the same person had to play on the piano the lesson he had been set. So he kind of shaved and got dressed while his pupil was playing. At 8 o'clock, Haydn ate breakfast. Immediately afterwards, he sat down at the piano and fantasied for as long as he needed to find the thoughts which served his intentions, which he then at once put to paper. At 11:30, he received visitors, or he went for a walk himself and paid visits. The hour from 2 to 3 was set for lunch. At 4 o'clock, he returned to musical activity. He then took the sketch made that morning and put it on a score, for which he took 3 to 4 hours. At 8 o'clock in the evening, he usually went out, but came back home at 9 o'clock and either sat down to write a score or took a book and read until 10 o'clock. The time at 10 o'clock was set for dinner. Haydn had made a rule of enjoying no more than bread and wine in the evening. At 11:30, he went to bed, even later when older. When he was very old, particularly in the last 5 to 6 years of his life, this routine described above was ruined by physical ailments and illnesses. Eventually, the active man could no longer occupy himself. So kind of a different time schedule than what we're used to, right? So in this home office, Haydn may have slept. His guests described the room as a closet, bedroom, or alcove. He probably composed here as well. In one letter, he mentioned a piano in the bedroom. Presumably, it referred to this clavichord. Haydn's pupils also played on the clavichord, while the maestro got dressed in the morning. By modern standards, Haydn's private life appears to have been quite public. Visitors were most impressed, however, by the 40 to 50 cannons which Haydn had hung on the wall here. They symbolized an element of privacy, for Haydn refused to publish them to the end of his life. There's one of the busts. This is Haydn's business card.
Дальше.
In the final years of his life, Haydn had a special visiting card made. Printed on it were the first few lines of a poem which Haydn had set to music in 1796. All my strength has gone, old and weak am I. Despite numerous invitations, Haydn hardly ever left the house. By way of apology, he sent this self-deprecating visiting card. In 1806, he also sent it to his publishing house. In the same envelope, he put his last string quartet that he had started years before, the third movement of which he could no longer complete. The publishing agent, Griesinger, wrote to his superior, should it not be appropriate, instead of the missing rondo, to have the visiting card printed? Wherever this quartet is performed, one will immediately learn from these few words why it is not complete. So this is actually a forte piano that Haydn used, and they bought it back in 1906. There's the best picture of it. This is Haydn's pencil. Kind of funny. So they got several of his writings, some manuscripts. He was a tough negotiator with money. There's his death mask. All the composer museums have death masks. This is one of Brahms's cabinets. And one of Brahms's pen quills and ink wells and his chair and his table.
I thought it was a coffee pot. It's an inkwell.
Brahms' stuff's in the house. It says, today, Johannes Brahms is a permanent guest in the Haydn House. There are two reasons for this. Firstly, Brahms, born in 1833, was a great admirer of Haydn. And second, his flat in Karlgasse 4 no longer exists, the building having been demolished in 1907. For this reason, it was decided in 1980 to exhibit furniture from the Brahms flat here. Brahms's music represents an important connection between Viennese classicism and Viennese modernism, and there are links to Haydn. He owned the handwritten scores of 6 Haydn string quartets and a song. Moreover, he owned the composer's clavichord, which now stands once more in Haydn's bedroom. And finally, Brahms occupied himself intensely with Chorale St. Anthony, a piece he believed to be by Haydn. It forms the basis for his variations on a theme by Joseph Haydn, composed in 1873. Today, however, it is assumed that the work was composed by Haydn's pupil Ignaz Pleyel. And then if you're there and you have the audio guide, it plays a little portion of it. Haydn had, there's the flags I was telling you about that are on all the Vienna museums. So this is what the outside looks like of the house. Kind of pretty, huh?
And big.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour of Haydn's house and the museum that's there. And now I'm going to play German dance. Let me get that screen back for you. Well, let's talk about it real quick. We got 5 minutes. What key is it in?
G.
G major. Good job. What else do you notice?
We have
Has a few of those articulations.
Yeah, we have staccatos. We have slurs. Good. What else?
repeat sign.
Repeat signs again. Good.
Yeah, twice.
Crescendo.
I'm sorry?
We have crescendo.
Crescendos. Good.
Crescendo.
We have mezzo forte, mezzo piano, forte.
Yeah, so our loudest is forte.
And we have cancelled. We have natural sign by, yeah.
Courtesy accidental there for the sharp that we have there.
Yeah, the augmented fourth.
Where's that?
The C sharp, right? And the second,
Oh,
the
I see
first
what you're
measure.
saying. I thought you were talking about the interval of an augmented fourth.
No, just in terms of
Yeah,
scale
we have a
degrees.
raised fourth, chromatic note. Yep, good. So this is a fun little German dance.
3, 4. Oh, look, it has that. What do you call that? Darn it! When it's split, the first and the last measures share the measure.
Oh, yeah, we have an anacrusis.
Yeah.
Yeah, anacrusis.
Yeah, incomplete measure to start. We start on B3. Good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Nice.
Okay. Thank you. So those are your 3 pieces. And then again, if you wanted to select a sonatina movement instead to help prepare you for a proficiency exam at your transfer institution, you're welcome to do that instead. Just pick one and let me know. Questions, comments, concerns?
March 15th.
Sorry?
March 15th.
No, it's going to be, it should be more like March 12th, or even
March.
before that, March.
Ooh.
It'll be the beginning of March. Probably around the 8th or 10th.
Okay.
So what I like to do on these is I like to give a quiz a couple weeks down the road from now. And I do this for a couple of reasons. Number 1, to get you to pick a piece and start learning it. And number 2, if I don't give a quiz, I don't hear you playing your piece. And then come midterm time, you've learned possibly something wrong. And then I take off points, and I don't like doing that. So I'd like to give a quiz just to see where you're at, just to make sure you've started the learning process, and just to make sure you haven't learned anything wrong along the way. So pick one of these and start working on it, because we will have a quiz in 2 or 3 weeks. Okay?
Okay.
Questions for me? Hearing none, seeing none. If none, I will see you tomorrow.
Okay.
See
Have a
you.
good day.
Yep.
Okay,
See
bye-bye.
you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.